What's going on, smart people? You read the title. Today I'd like to talk about rejection in physics. If you're a physics major with plans of going to grad school, rejection is in your future. It may not be total and utter rejection, but it's still inevitable. For those of you who are unfamiliar, here's an example of how rejection may present itself. The two big instances where you'll encounter rejection is when you first apply for internships and when you apply to grad school. And I've been very fortunate in that the sheer magnitude of rejection letters I've received has made me a leading expert on the topic. I don't mean to brag, but I've even been rejected from an internship at Caltech. And that's on my resume now. But all joking aside, rejection is inevitable because it is expected that you're going to be applying to a wide range of internship opportunities and possibly grad schools. I personally applied to about 12 or so internships and about 10 or so grad schools, got accepted into 2 internships, not counting the one that I'm doing right now, and I got accepted into 2 grad schools. So my success rate was ballpark around 20% with a 3.5 GPA, 3.7 major GPA, which is, I think, kind of average. So that means in total, I got rejected in undergraduate physics about 20 different times. But I did not get 20 different rejection letters. Sometimes I got one, like with the Caltech internship, which was probably the nicest way I've ever been broken up with. But sometimes all I got is just a big fat rejected under where the application status was written. So you don't always find out why you got rejected. And at first that would really get to me. I'd be like, why was I not good enough for them? What do I need to do to be more competitive next time? And one thing that you may or may not find satisfactory is that being competitive academically oftentimes isn't enough. I've found that when aptitude and sheer enthusiasm for the subject are aligned is when your application has its best chance. And when I say the subject, I don't mean just physics. I mean, are you sincerely interested in learning how to calibrate that piece of experimental equipment for 10 weeks? Because someone applying is. Someone applying made a workshop in the garage where they built something that they think is similar to whatever they'd be working on in the internship, and you can see the enthusiasm, and that's something you can't fake. So I'm not saying pretend to be more enthusiastic about a topic than you really are, because they'll sniff that out. I'm saying to give yourself the best bet, find out what that topic is for you, and apply to those types of internships as well as the more broad ones.
But Andrew, I don't have that kind of thing that gets me super enthusiastic. Like, I don't have that workshop thing.
Well, try new things until you do. Buy a breadboard and see if you like messing around with circuits, or rent a textbook on field theory and see if you like the math associated with it. Now, grad school applications are a bit of a different story. There's more moving parts that can contribute to you being accepted or rejected. GPA, GRE scores, letters of recommendation, research experience, personal statements. And if you get rejected, you're probably not going to find out why. In my experience, they might give we had over 10 billion applicants and only -5 open, or something like that. But the point is you didn't get one of those spots, and then the cycle repeats of asking yourself why it wasn't you that got the opening. And really, you should do some self-reflection as to why you didn't get in. It might not be that there was nothing wrong with your application and you just didn't end up being a good fit. For me, I did poorly on my GREs. I applied to a lot of out-of-state schools who needed a means of interpreting what my grades meant, so they put more weight on the GREs, which did not work in my favor. So I could point at that objectively and say that that was a weak point of my application, but there may be someone whose letter writers know someone on the admissions committee who can vouch for their student in a way that means more than yours did. So when you get rejected, I encourage you to find your application's weak points so you can still learn from it, but try not to beat yourself up because you never know if it was because of something you couldn't plan for. It took me 6 rejections from 6 different grad schools before I got my first acceptance letter, and I remember venting to a professor leading up to the 6th rejection, who then told me he could cover his wall with all of his rejection letters, and that someone only has to say yes once. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm going to leave a link in the description to a video I made on how to find research internships. Let me know in the comments section what your experience with rejection in physics is so that other people know that they're not alone. And I'll see you guys there.